Okay, this is going to be a really random and funny thing to ask you here. But what advice have you got for the guys about makeup? So let's say I'll put myself in the hot seat. I'm married. My missus wants me to buy something nice. I decide to buy makeup.
Oh, I thought you meant for you to wear it. I was a bit like...
we can talk about that as well. You know, when I have a black eye from sparring or something like that.
Yeah, the amount of men that wanted makeup on their wedding days. Like, I'm doing the bride and then the groom's like, oh, can you like concealer? I'm just like, no.
Welcome back to the Windmill Boxing Club HQ. I'm your head coach, Mo. Make sure you like the videos and subscribe. Today's guest, we're going across to the female audience and trying to engage our female fellowship. We've got Sophina Khan. So just introduce yourself.
So for those who don't know me, I'm Sophina. I'm a nurse. I'm a mum. I'm an ex-makeup artist. I am an aesthetic practitioner. I'm a humanitarian. And we'll probably get into all of that anyway soon.
I think something you mentioned off camera, you're a dinosaur.
I'm a dinosaur,
We'll go and talk about that later on as well.
Yep.
So let's just go straight into the deep end. You're a nurse. Talk to us about the medical profession.
Oh, it's something that I didn't plan on doing. So ever since I was like little, dad, typical Asian dad was like, oh, you know, I want my kids to be a doctor and this and that and everything. But to be fair, I did want to be a doctor myself. And my older brother and my older sister, they did the academic side, but it wasn't, I was like a geek basically. So I was just like literally always sitting with my dad, getting on with my work and whatnot. So yeah, I just had it in my head that this is what I want to do. Always had the interest. And then dad was like, no one's getting married until 25. So what did I go and do? I met my husband at 18. Dad, I want to get married. So it wasn't that he wasn't not happy, but it was the whole thing of, oh, you were meant to go to London and study because I got accepted. And then I just hit my dad with a brick. I want to get married.
When you said go to London, what was the acceptance in a particular college, university?
King's, Queen Mary's and UCL. So
For the big boys.
Yeah. I was a boffin. I used to study hard. I still do, to be fair. But I still am an undercover geek. I can't hide it. I love maths. I'm just literally, give me maths and I'll sit there all day doing quizzes. But yeah, dad was just a bit like, you were meant to get married and I promised my dad I was still going to do it. Alhamdulillah, dad's like so good like that. We are Pathan, but we're not like, it's not like your stereotypical like, oh, you know, get married at 12 and that's it.
It was just a spanner in the works because he had it set for 25.
Everything was set, yeah, because dad was like saying no to rishta in Pakistan and America and Canada. And there was a rishta for a jet pilot in Pakistan, the army. I was meant to marry him and my sister was meant to marry his brother, but...
Didn't take off?
It didn't take off, no. And it was just a case of, we still get a lot of grief from that side over there. Oh, I thought your daughter wasn't going to get married until she's 25.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's it. Just got married and we had Isa straight away, then had Ismail straight away, then had Usman straight away. And I was like, crap, I can't do medicine now. Not with 3 babies. Literally, they were just babies. And it was just too much to take on. So nursing was the next best option. Just went for it.
So about nursing. What is your daily activity involved?
Training was a ball ache. Oh, it was the worst. Oh my God, you get treated like crap. Sorry, anyone deciding to do nursing, seriously, have a serious think about it because you've got to see the most dreadful stuff. You've got to clean the most dreadful stuff. The perks of it is like all the surgical side. So I was always like into surgery, but bloody hell, it's hard work, long hours. If you're single, if you've not got kids and you haven't got commitments, it's a breeze. And anyone that complains about nursing who hasn't got kids needs a punch. I'm not even joking because it's fine if you haven't got commitments. But if you've got commitments, then it's a bit challenging, like 14-hour shifts, on top of that uni work, on top of that exams. And then you've got to deal with like, you know, just the pressures of everything that you're exposed to, working in the hospital, you know, deaths.
So this is while you're training, yeah?
This is all while you're training.
Does it change once you're actually qualified?
Yeah, when you qualify, the responsibility changes. So you can still hide behind your mentor when you're a student. But as soon as you qualify, it's like, oh crap, these are my patients now. Like their lives are in my hands. It's my responsibility. I remember on my first shift, my uniform went from white to blue. And the patient's family member came up to the desk and they were like, oh, we just want to speak about a patient. And I'm just looking at her. Oh, we need to speak to a nurse about a patient. And I'm on the computer and I'm just looking at her. And then the HCA was like, Soph, you're the nurse. And I was like, oh, I'm the nurse. So yeah, it's just like the whole transition is crazy, but it was all right. I literally got stuck straight into it. And yeah, cardiology, endoscopy. Cardiology mainly was my thing, endoscopy, and then moved into public health. And then alongside this, I was still doing all my makeup artist work. But yeah, just juggling everything. But I do really enjoy being a nurse.
Just for the people who lack the education like myself, cardiology.
Cardiology is anything heart related. So anyone who has, on that ward in particular, we were diagnosing any kind of heart condition. So people who came in with a heart attack, they usually came in either presenting symptoms and then they would get referred to the hospital, or they'd come in as a primary, which is through A&E, someone who's just coming from having a heart attack, come onto our ward. We'd send them to cath labs where we do like, I don't know if you've ever heard of an angiogram.
Yeah.
So an angiogram is where we're testing to see if there's any blockages in the arteries. If there is, we can stent them. If they're not suitable for stents, then we refer them on to cardiovascular, which is surgery, like bypass operation. And then after the bypass, they go on to ITU. And then ITU, they come back to the ward.
Okay. So going directly onto the heart-related issues, which communities are more prevalent?
To be fair, I mean, it was a mix of Asian and Caucasian. Not so many like Black Afro-Caribbean. It was mainly Asian, Caucasian. I mean, with the Asians, they are just your typical patients. Sorry to stereotype, but you know, mithai, sugar, salt,
Stress,
smoking, like don't listen to their doctors. GPs are telling them, take your medication. Oh, it's okay. I know better. My dad's one of them.
lack of exercise.
Yeah, literally, like just they have the worst lifestyle ever. Like I don't want to stereotype, but most patients do. And then with the Caucasian communities, it's just mainly alcohol and smoking. And yeah, it's mainly alcohol and smoking. And obviously with Asians though, it's genetics as well.
I think we've got a strong family history of heart problems.
Have you?
Yeah, and the weirdest thing is all the healthy people in the family have suffered some kind of episode related to the heart. My dad's the only one who smokes and never had a problem. And all he does as a jovial joke, he says, you should all start smoking. Which we're not advocating, obviously.
We're not advocating that at all. But it's funny because that's exactly the same in mine. Literally out of nowhere, my Jaja had a heart attack. And then my Pupo in Pakistan, she's a nurse as well. She had a heart attack. My Jaja is younger than my dad. And he had a triple bypass. And we were like, where the hell did this come from? And my dad's a smoker. Heavy smoker, no one else.
You know, like, obviously you were shocked with it, but is there any telltale signs before it happens, or does it just happen all of a sudden?
There can be telltale signs. So if, for example, you're suffering from high blood pressure quite regularly, then it's good to obviously nip that in the bud because you want to put less stress on the heart in terms of your blood pressure. So signs of high blood pressure is like it affects your behavior. You get like a rash around the chest. If you're itching a lot as well. And if you find that you're getting breathless quite a bit. Other than that, you know, usually it's like, you know, tightness in your chest, a bit of pain in your arm, radiates up to your shoulder and your jaw. But can just happen.
Yeah, I think it's cultural influence as well. Like,
huge.
For example, in this area, in the 1 mile radius, there's more 99p fish and chip shops. And it's just convenient.
K-Pill Chippy. Oh. Aleem's discovered K-Pill Chippy.
You're supposed to be advocating for a healthy diet here.
Sorry. They've got the best fish and chips.
And do you put extra salt on them?
Every time. But we cancel it out with the vinegar.
It's not bad to have a treat here and there, I suppose.
Yeah, it's fine to have a treat here and there. Obviously, like just not every day. I was the worst person for it. I was eating takeaways twice a day, like through my nursing degree. Because I was so busy nursing and kids and just uni work and whatnot, because we lived with my in-laws as well. My mother-in-law always cooked, bless her. But
good
then
food.
it's like, yeah, good food. Trust me, like I learned most of my cooking from my mother-in-law. Like I learned like a good few dishes from home before I came out. So I knew how to cook. But like I perfected my cooking with my mother-in-law. But yeah, it's just, we just started eating takeaways like every day.
Just convenient.
Twice a day. It was bad. I literally ballooned. Everyone ballooned. really bad. So yeah, don't ever do that.
You talked about the nursing side. So am I right in assuming this was NHS or was it private sector?
Yeah, NHS. I'm in the private sector now.
So give us a comparison.
Bloody love it. So I came out of the NHS. I loved working for cardiology, but the hours were a killer. My kids were suffering because I was working such long hours, and there was times where I was like, oh crap, who's getting the kids from school? And even though like I was at the QE, my kids go to school in Harborne. It's literally 5 minutes away. It's not nice, your kids waiting at school thinking, where's my mom? And that's when I made the decision to move into public health to become a school nurse. That was still the NHS, but oh god, that job was like
A lot more stress.
it was horrible. It was just like, you're just like a social worker. You just, no clinical work. You just pushing pencils behind a desk and sitting in meetings. And there was a lot of child abuse involved in that job. So I was just ready to like move on from that. It was too stressful, not when you've got kids yourself. And then it was, I went into aesthetics. So that's when I moved into the private sector. But that just happened by fluke. And it was when I was pregnant with Anna, my daughter, that I decided after having her, I'm going to just, yeah.
You mentioned about the makeup side. Talk to us about that. Where did it start and why?
It started literally the same time that I was studying for my nursing degree. So I was the biggest, I still am, biggest tomboy ever. Like, did not like to dress up as a girl. Literally all my teenage years, I think up until I was 17. When I was 17, I became a girl, my dad says. My sister got married. So I never touched makeup. Like I had a woman do my makeup on my wedding, and even then I was trying to scrape it off. It was just terrible. And then I never touched makeup after that. And then 3 years later, my sister got married, and that's when we had a makeup artist do my makeup. And I was a bit like, oh, okay, this is all right. I don't know, just developed like a bit of a liking towards it. And then I was just watching stuff on YouTube and practicing at home. And I had a bit of a knack for it. So I just thought, do it. And it was my mom actually, she pushed me to do it because my mom's born here, dad's from Pakistan. My mom, she's like, I'm going off on a tangent here. I've literally replicated mom's life. So mom got married when she was 18. So did I. She had my sister, my brother, and me together. I did the same with my first 3 kids. She studied alongside having us when she did her initial degree, her first degree. And she's a theologian. And then I did the same. And then she had a 9-year gap. I had a 7-year gap, and I had Adam. She had Mustafa. And then she had Musa, and I had Anna. So it's really crazy. And she did her master's as well after she did, after her 4th. I'm doing it after my 5th. But it's just crazy. But my mom also, as well as studying, she was really into beauty. So she used to work as an Avon rep on the side just because she just enjoyed like, being around makeup and stuff, and she's proper fashionable, my mom was. And so she was like, no, Soph, do it. You need to do it, and I'll support you and I'll push you. So yeah, it's because of my mom really, but I'm glad she pushed me.
Worked out all right?
Yeah, it worked out all right. I was working as a makeup artist, and that worked out really well. Like, how the girls are so, I look at all these makeup artists now, and they're so busy, and it's so good, like seeing them flourish. And that was me like 10 years ago. It's mad. And then I set up a training academy. So then I started training makeup. And yeah,
Is that still ongoing or?
No. I've completely pulled out of the whole makeup game. I don't have time for it. I've just literally like, now that I've gone into aesthetics, 2017, I went into aesthetics. So coming up to 3 years, yeah. 2017, was it 2018? I can't bloody remember.
Okay, this is going to be a really random and funny thing to ask you here. What advice have you got for the guys about makeup? So let's say, I'll put myself in the hot seat. I'm married. My missus wants me to buy her something nice. I decide to buy makeup.
Oh, I thought you meant for you to wear it. I was a bit like,
we can talk about that as well. When I have a black eye from sparring or something like that.
Yeah, the amount of men that wanted makeup on their wedding days. Like, I'm doing the bride, and then the groom's like, oh, can you like concealer? I'm just like, no.
So give us some advice. So if I'm going to the shops now and I'm going to get my wife something, what am I looking for? What brands? What names? What should I be? What's to do and I don't?
It all depends. Like, some women are like really into brands. Some women are into like just the product. It just depends on like what's your wife like. So Does she wear a lot of makeup, or is she
When we
quite
go on
natural?
special occasions,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
On a daily basis, like, does she wear
Daily, just for
mascara?
work, basic stuff.
Just basic stuff like,
Spends 10, 15 minutes in front of the mirror.
yeah,
That kind
okay.
of level.
Yeah. So, but then she could wear a lot, and she's really good at it, because like I can get ready in 5 minutes. I literally got ready in 5 minutes before I came, because I'm just so used to doing it. So yeah, like things like mascara. Women love mascara. Go for the Huda mascara. It is wicked. Huda Beauty. Have you heard of Huda Beauty?
But I'll make a note of that. Looking for brownie points at home. So.
Yeah, get a Huda Beauty. Every girl likes Huda Beauty. I've not come across anyone that doesn't like Huda. So most likely your wife's going to wear mascara. Every girl loves mascara. Get NARS.
NARS?
Yeah.
Ain't that a rapper?
Not NARS. That's NARS.
Okay. I was going to say, she's married to me. What does she want the rapper for?
NARS is a makeup brand, and they do like really good bits, lippies and blush and bronzers. NARS, Huda, and Charlotte Tilbury.
But the next question, she's going to say, can you apply it? So then what I'm going to do?
What, you apply her makeup?
Well, she's going to ask for the next thing.
You need to watch my YouTube videos.
Okay, so give us a shout out on YouTube videos.
Oh gosh, you know what? I've just started with the whole YouTube thing, and it is a nightmare, absolute nightmare, because we were just talking about it, the whole issue of editing and stuff. So I'm really crap at it, but I am starting now with YouTube properly. I'm waiting for my front room to get ready. So we've just moved house, and I said to Aleem, I was like, we had a proper fight about this. Like literally, I wanted to kill him. The front room, he wanted it as a games room for the kids, and I was like, no, because they've all got their rooms and they've got their full setup. Full like gaming monitor and gaming laptops and PlayStations. I was like, why are they going to have a gaming room as well? No, that's my YouTube room. You're smiling because you've probably got
one.
one.
I'm smiling because we're having a debate as well about the garage, if it's going to be a man cave or if it's going to be a ladies sort of getaway.
Let your wife have it.
But the way I found a solution was middle ground. I said, we'll just leave it as a garage and we park the car there.
That's not a middle ground.
See, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to back the boys out there who, having these little domestics and just neutral ground. The car needs somewhere to stay.
What would you prefer? Like with me, because obviously like Aleem's really shy. He's an introvert. He's not like really shy, but he's an introvert compared to me. So he's really respectful. If my friends come round, he's like, Salam, you okay? Tea, anything? And he's out. He's running off.
I think I'm the same, but
yeah.
That's the reason why I wanted the garage. I wanted the garage so we could have the boys come over and not mix with the household. And if she calls her mates over, does what she wants to do, she can get on with it. We don't step on her toes. But then she's like, no, we're not buying the house for your friends. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I got to agree with her on that one.
So now I'm going to have to save up for another house just to call my mates over.
Go out with your friends. Because that's what I would say to Aleem.
But we can't go out because we go out, we get 10 phone calls. Where are you? What are you doing? This.
No, that's not always the case.
Oh, you're definitely up to something. Your phone was off. Anyway, going back to the makeup. So I've heard this term which bamboozles me, but maybe you can explain it to me. What is halal makeup?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me. I really don't know.
Is it something you can eat? Is it a consumer thing? Or?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it at all, this halal makeup thing. I understand vegan makeup because...
So what's vegan makeup? Let's talk about vegan makeup.
So some makeup contains animal products. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be like from the flesh of an animal, but just in terms of like a hormone or a gene. So vegans don't have anything at all. They don't have eggs. They don't have milk. So vegetarians will probably have milk and cheese and whatnot, but vegans will not have anything that's from an animal. So for vegan friendly like people, they don't have any kind of animal product in there. So I understand vegan, but I don't get halal because anything that's halal, I thought it was like you're not eating it. So I don't get it.
I think what I've heard about it is something to do with some ruling about the water penetrating the makeup.
Oh, no. That's the nail varnishes. So with nail varnishes, it's a case of, because obviously the water can't penetrate the nail bed and your wudu is not valid. So with halal nail varnishes, they're water permeable, which means the water can penetrate and get to the nail bed. But I tried it once. It was flipping pain in the backside. You have to rub the nail for 10 seconds. Who's going to sit there rubbing their nails for 10 seconds, like 5 times a day? Wudu's meant to be quick.
Can we cut that bit out? Because the girls are going to tell the guys, can you rub my nails for 10 minutes? We'll have to just chop that bit out.
No,
I'm just trying to sort the boys out at the same time. We're trying to get brownie points here, not extra jobs.
Just forget the nails. That's it. Literally, like the whole...
Wear gloves.
Yeah,
Leather gloves.
or just leave them plain. Literally,
Natural.
I don't get it. I don't get this whole water permeable thing because, yeah, I'm just going to end up going off on a tangent. So you do your wudu like a young person and you pray like an old person. So you stand as long as you can while you're praying. So yeah, it's like if you're going to sit there rubbing each nail for 10 seconds. I tried it once. It was pain in the back. So I took it off. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'd rather just wait.
It's down to the individual, basically.
Yeah. Like people love doing nails. Like they love it. Like my cousins, she's always got her nails done. She's young though. So I'm just like, okay, that's fine. That's what you're into. So that's what you're into.
I'm going to ask you something really serious now. You don't have to give me a serious answer, but it's a serious question. What does makeup mean to a woman?
Oh, I can't answer that as a general comment because I can only speak for myself.
Okay, tell us what it means to you.
So for me, literally, it's whatever I do. This is not just even for makeup. Whatever I do is for myself. So a lot of not being stereotypical, but a lot of men pass judging comments that women dress up to attract the opposite sex. It's so not true. It's so not true. I get it. Yeah, some girls out there, probably do, but it's so not true that, women can't be generalized in one sort of, comment because it's just so not true. Like I wear it because I had acne when I was just for the last 10 years. I think it's just because I've been constantly pregnant for the last bloody 15 years. So it's just literally hormones and everything. And it was just like covering up, and then because and then even when my skin got better, it's habit. So it's like if you do something for so long, you don't stop doing it because then you feel different without it and you feel weird without it. It's like you wear clothes all the time. So if you just suddenly walk around without your top on, you look a bit top off. It's a bit like you feel a bit naked, you know what I mean? So it's the same with makeup. So, but thank God, alhamdulillah, like my skin is so much better. And thank God for COVID, silver linings. I've put on makeup today, but I don't wear it on a daily basis anymore because I've fixed my skin, which is great. And I'm confident without my makeup. I don't feel like I need to hide behind my makeup. I don't feel like I need it. So it was literally for myself.
You said about people passing judgment. Do you think it works the other way as well, where if women don't wear makeup, they get judged?
I think that happens. It can happen, yeah, because I've seen it happen where that's more female on female, where girls can be a bit nasty. People will notice. So if like you're normally groomed with your hair and your beard and whatnot, and all of a sudden like you've turned, and if that's your norm, and then you turn up other than the norm, it will raise like questions because you obviously were going through a tough time and it showed on you. Because if you weren't going through a tough time, you'd do your normal, usual grooming and whatnot. So yeah, it probably is. People do pick up on these things. But I'm really sensitive with these type of things because I'm not a nosy person. I don't like to know what's going on in people's lives. I just literally, I want everyone to like live their own life and let me live mine kind of thing. But people can be nosy and they can ask questions because they just want to know. So yeah, it just depends. But people do pick up on things and it just depends how much of a nosy bugger they are to say something. Sometimes people say it because they care.
Let's go on to being a parent. So obviously you mentioned it's a busy lifestyle. I believe parents are superheroes. A lot of people don't believe me, but I think that is the case. There's a lot of things you manage, juggle. Talk to us about being a parent.
Oh God, where do I start? I don't know where to start. It's
So you wake up in the morning. What's the first thing you have to do?
Oh, my routine. Oh God, my routine. Bloody hell. Up every morning, 7, literally. So I've got 2 younger ones. Anna, who's 3 next Friday. Adam is 5. And then there's Usman, who is 12, Ismail, who's 13, and Isa is 14. And with their age gaps, there's like different things obviously going on in their lives. So they're really independent, which is good. So yeah, they can get on with, getting their own breakfast done and getting themselves ready and whatnot. I just get the little 2 ready. 4 different bloody school runs and then straight to work. And the beauty of having your own business is you can work when you want. So I'm out of there by about 2:30. Get Adam, get Anna. The boys are fighting tooth and nail with me to walk home from school and I am not letting them. I've let them a few times and they'll stop at the shop and they'll take 45 minutes to come home when it should take them only about 20 minutes. And that just bugs me. I don't want my kids on the streets. I've always made that clear. We live in Edgbaston, but it's not the pristine side of Edgbaston. It's Edgbaston Ladywood side. So, the streets are still very rough. And I just don't want my kids exposed to a lot of stuff. They are aware of things that happen on the streets, but I just don't want them out on the streets. I don't want to take that risk of losing my kids to the streets, because when it becomes a habit of them being on the streets, it's part of their lifestyle then as well. So yeah, I do want them to be streetwise, but they can be streetwise without, I just don't want to take that risk. So yeah, the kids, like, sometimes I let them walk home and then they take too long and I have a full on go at them. And then it's just like, right, I'm picking you up. You're not going home yourself, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. And then as soon as they come home, they're always bloody hungry. They always want to eat. Flipping literally eating us out of house and home. They eat like men, mashallah. So feed them, off to madrasa. They go to madrasa here, Abrahamic Foundation. Get them off there. Get back home. Get the dinner on. Pick them up. Because my husband works like all day from morning till evening. So we have this arrangement. Monday to Friday, I will do all the running around. But then come Saturday and Sunday, that's my time. So you have to take over with the kids. And he's really good. Like, mashallah, I can't complain about him, as a dad. He's amazing. So yeah, he'll take over then. So then, yeah, most of the time he picks him up from madrasa unless he's on call. He's a gas engineer. So when he's on call, it's shit. Literally, like, winters, I hardly see him. He's always working and it's really crap. Probably see him for like half an hour a day. So crap.
Winter's a time when the heating needs to be on.
That's his busy time. Literally, like from now, October onwards, that's it. It's getting busy for him. And so that's just kind of...
So is he self-employed as well? Or?
No. I keep pushing him to go self-employed and he's just... With Aleem, see, me and Aleem are so different. I'm very business orientated. I'm like an entrepreneur in that sense. I've always worked for myself. That's why I couldn't even work at the NHS because I just don't like being told what to do. I'm like that. It's really bad. Whereas Aleem, he likes stability. He likes consistency. He likes to be able to go to work, earn his wage, come home, pay, make sure all the bills are paid, and he doesn't have to bring his work home. He can come home and he can just switch off and relax. So I get it because that is nice.
It's routine and he likes routine.
Yeah. He likes that routine in that sense. Whereas,
and you like chaos.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. He's the calm to my storm. Literally. We're literally polar opposites. It's crazy. But yeah. And I suppose it's good because if he was very business orientated and so was I, one of us would have to compromise. And I'm not a very compromising person, I'll be honest with you.
Compromise is a big word that I don't want to really discuss at the moment.
Oh yeah, the garage. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, I like to think I'm right most of the time. But the good thing is, Aleem even says to me, he goes, 90% of the time you are right. So fair play to him for like agreeing with me on that. But we have to go through the whole bloody, debacle of argument and...
That's the banter though, isn't it?
It is. Because we'll argue it out tooth and nail. Literally, I'm about to kill him. And then he's like, all right, yeah, you're right.
Have ice cream, laugh it off and that's it.
Literally, honestly, like we can't stay mad at each other for more than a day. It's always been like that. Alhamdulillah, thank God for that. Because it's just... And I think it's more him. Like I'm a bit more stubborn. And he will always laugh it off. He will always just, try and make a joke out of it, which sometimes makes me more angry because I'm like, this is not a joke. But fair play to him, he does calm everything down and he balances things out really well, which is good. But yeah, so he has the kids on the weekend. I do all the running around during the weekdays. I'm at work all day on a Saturday. So I just say like, if any of my friends want to meet up or whatever, I usually say to them, just keep it to a Saturday or a Sunday because Sunday's family days as well because we need to visit my parents, need to visit his parents. And I think since COVID, we've probably visited our parents like maybe 10 times in this whole year because of this crappy COVID. Because my mother-in-law is a vulnerable adult, so we can't risk that. Can't risk her getting ill. And the same with my mom, to be fair, as well, because my mom was recently diagnosed with mental health, which has been really tough on the family since last year. Really, really tough. we always knew that there was something there with mom. And I think it triggered from when she lost her parents. I'm not going to go too much into it. But yeah, I always knew something was there. And I kept saying to Dad, we need to, like, obviously, you know, get this looked into. And then it did get looked into and she was diagnosed. But alhamdulillah, she's doing so much better, like, seriously. And it's just a case of, you know, the whole taboo in the Asian community. It's like, oh, there's something on her and this and that. And it's like, no, that's not the only thing that you can put this down to. Mental health exists, and it's so important to not just go. And I'm not like, you know, against people going to see a peer or whatever and whatever they do. But I just believe that there's ways to protect yourself, which we should all do. But then also things do happen with people's lives. And my mom's had a really chaotic life, like me, literally kids, studying, masters. She's a lecturer. She's a retired lecturer. She's raised 5 kids, 10 grandchildren. She's, you know, my dad and her literally having such a long marriage, mashallah, and everything. And it's a lot to deal with. And yeah, she lost her parents.
What you said earlier, you know, the hustle wears you down. And if you just look at what our parents have done, I don't know about other people out there watching, but our parents have really hustled in their lives to get us where we are. Do you think that parents should be a bit more, like you just explained, change your approach, be a bit more, maybe a listening ear rather than always being the one speaking?
100%. I'm the biggest culprit for this, because I'm very like my dad, very my way or no way. And there's not much leeway with me. And I know I need to give my kids that leeway, but it's just learnt behavior, I suppose, because the way my parents were with us, very strict, very routine. Everyone had chores. I'm exactly the same with my kids. Like, and yeah, I do need to ease off a bit, but it's hard. It's really hard. I'm not going to lie.
It's work in progress.
It is, yeah. And major things will happen like that, what happened, which will kind of make you think, I need to change something here because I don't want that happening again. And prevention is better than cure. So if you want to avoid things getting out of control, then yeah, try and change your approach. Definitely listen to your child as well. Have your boundaries. Of course, every parent's got to have their boundaries, but just give that time to sit down and talk with your children, whatever it's about, whatever they want to talk to you about. And we do usually talk about things. It's usually on the drive home from school. We talk about all sorts. We talk about marriage. We talk about...
I was just going to say something. You just picked it out of my brain. When I was younger, if I had an issue, I would normally be going on my own, hiding away from the family and just stressing and thinking about... And my dad used to notice. And my dad used to always say, let's go for a drive. And the conversations we've had in the car are probably the best
conversations ever.
And now, what you talked about, learnt behavior, there's been 4 or 5 occasions where I've seen my dad stressed. And I said to him, let's go for a drive. Yeah. So he's a better driver, obviously, but it works.
Yeah,
having that one-to-one mentoring or, you know, coaching.
That's the time when me and Aleem can really talk about things as well. Because when we're at home and we've got all the kids around us, there's not a chance. And Aleem's like that. He goes very quiet. So I know something's on his mind. So I let him talk to me about it in his own time. But then usually, like, this is why we love long drives. We'll just literally have his sister come over and we'll just go for a long drive. If it means just driving up to Oxford or something, stop at the service, get a coffee and come back. It gives us, like, we talk about so much stuff, and it's stuff that we can't always talk about when we're at home because the kids are around or just life gets in the way and, you know, work and kids and whatnot. So having that one-to-one time is really important, whether it's with your spouse or whether it's with your parents or your children. It just, you know, just to be able to sit down and just talk about whatever's on your mind. At least even if you don't find a solution, you've voiced what's on your mind, and then the other person can be more aware of it.
Let's go on to your work that you're doing now.
Oh, God.
So you mentioned the word aesthetic.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what that means. So tell us, what does the actual word mean and what does it stem from and what's the work, the nature of the beast?
Aesthetics has many definitions depending on what context it's used in. So aesthetics in the medical sector is anything to do with, you know, have you heard the terminology being aesthetically pleasing? So something that is easy on the eye, something that looks good. So aesthetics comes in boxing. aesthetics comes in editing. Over there. Aesthetics comes in everything. So aesthetics in medicine is something as simple as laser hair removal. So your beard line, if you wanted to keep that beard line without having to always shave it, you could just have some laser. That's aesthetics. And then you've got the extreme opposite of plastic surgery. That's also aesthetics. So it just depends on, what you want, what kind of, there's so many treatments. Like, I knew this was going to come up because it's just since I've gone into aesthetics, there's been just so much nonsense I've had. Yeah. You probably know what I'm talking about.
I don't actually. When you said about the laser hair removal?
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it.
So laser hair removal.
So if I did something here, would the hair grow back?
No. Not as much. Very fine if it did. Very
and
fine.
What's the implications of it?
Nothing. You just come in, you just have a patch test, and then you'd obviously continue shaving. Then the laser, what the laser does is it just kills off the hair follicle, to be fair. And yeah, the hair growth is reduced, if not removed. Obviously, there's no such thing as 100% removal, but guys have it better than girls because we have hormones which affect our hair growth. You guys don't. So it works really well with guys. And it works well with women as well. But obviously, like if we were to get pregnant, then our hormones change all of a sudden. And then all that laser hair removal is kind of like kind of a waste because, you got to start it all over again. So yeah, with guys, they get their back done, their chest done, their cheeks done. Yeah, mainly back, chest and cheeks because obviously like you have people who, boxers, we have a lot of athletes that come and they have all of that done as well. But cheeks is a big one and beard line all around the neck and everything. So I say to my husband all the time, come and have your laser. It's there. And he just doesn't do it. He's so bad. He's the worst patient ever, typical Asian patient. Always late or does it whenever he feels like it.
To go into it a bit more, do people have pressure to change the way they look? Do you find that clients come to you because of pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Or if we look from the other side, do they regret it when they do it?
Thank God I've never had a patient that regrets. And if they've not had regret, but they've had that doubt because, for example, a lip filler, the first time they've had a lip filler and it's like, oh, I'm not sure. I know I need it because they're a smoker. So it's not always vanity. And this is what's really important to let people know. It's not always vanity. Believe me, like a lot of people think that, yeah, I get it. They see what's on Instagram, all the chiseled jawlines and big cheeks and big lips and everything. And they think that it's all vanity, but it's not. I mean, this patient that came in was a smoker. So as you know, with smokers, their lips end up shriveling. And it just made her self-conscious. So she was like, oh, I feel like I look older than what I am. So she just needed a bit of rejuvenation. So we did a lip filler and afterwards she was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about this. I said, just give it a couple of weeks, let it settle. If you don't like it, the good thing is we can dissolve it all and get it all out. She didn't even come back 2 weeks later. She phoned and she said, cancel my appointment. I love it. It's fine. So you do get that happens. Not so much regrets, but you get a bit of uncertainty. And that's why it's really important when we take our patients on, we do a thorough consultation. And I always ask my patients, especially if they're young girls, why are you going for this treatment? And if they show me a picture on Instagram, I'm just a bit like, we can't turn them away because at the end of the day, if people want it just to look good, can't stop them from wanting to look good. That's their choice, exactly. But there's something called body dysmorphia. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know too much about it, if I'm honest.
It's just when someone looks in the mirror and they hate what they see, no matter how good they look or how good anyone else tells them, they see something else. They see something ugly. They see something that's not nice. So that's like a mental health condition. So if we notice any traits of body dysmorphia, we don't do the treatment. Because ethically, we're a medical clinic. We're all medical practitioners and ethics are really important. It's not about just cashing in on patients. A lot of people out there do cash in on patients. They don't care. They'll keep filling their lips. They'll keep filling their cheeks. They'll keep doing all sorts of, 100 units of Botox in their forehead and not even give a crap. But we will turn the patient away. We'll say, no, come back in about a year when you're due for a top-up and then we'll look at it. So, aesthetics is one of those things where you do get people coming in who come in for vanity, but also for psychosocial issues. One poor lady, she suffered abuse from her ex-husband. She had a really bust up nose. She just wanted her nose straightened out. So I did a non-surgical rhinoplasty. She just wanted a bit of confidence back. She came out of a divorce. He messed up her nose. And yeah, so it's not just about being an Instagram model or anything like that.
Let's talk about money. How expensive is it to get these procedures carried out?
They can range from, I think your cheapest procedures are probably laser.
So let's say I'm your patient now. This is the beard line.
God, I don't
How
even
many
know my prices
thousands?
off. No, it's not thousands. It's like per session.
We're gonna have to close that GoFundMe page.
It's about £60 a session. It's not that expensive. And you have one session like every 3 to 4 weeks. So it's not that expensive.
And how many sessions we talking?
You probably need about 6 to 8 sessions. Well, we have to monitor your hair growth and see how it is. I mean,
Let's move on quickly. You talked about your visit to Turkey. I watched a little video on YouTube.
Oh, the vlog. Did you watch it?
Okay, so vlog, yeah. So what's with the vlogging? Where's it going? What's the plan?
I don't know. I just, you know what it is? Okay, so normally I put everything up on Instagram. And then I thought, right, okay, I'm going to put all my videos up on YouTube now because I just want to build up my YouTube. I get the views on Instagram. I don't get the views on YouTube because obviously like the audience isn't there as much. So that, yeah, just whatever I would have posted on Instagram, I just posted it on YouTube. I don't know if it is a vlog. I don't understand. Mr. Technical over there will probably know better if it was a vlog or not. It wasn't. Oh, thanks.
You know why I asked you the question was
Why?
obviously my job is to host this podcast and I research on the guests. And one of the first things I do, I look at their vlogs to try and get some kind of affirmation what the person's about. And from what I see, there's not much content, but it's quite popular for what there is. So maybe that's something you need to start doing to inspire the youngsters and the people that follow you to see. The one that stood out for me was you getting ready in the morning and your kids keep interrupting you.
Oh, God.
And that was brilliant because that relates to real people out there who have got kids in the house. Because they might have an image.
That was a live stream, I think. And then I just saved the live stream. Yeah, that was a live stream. And I just live stream. Oh, that was a terrible video.
But that's the kind of thing that is real because people have this image of you or other people in the world that they just get everything done and they don't do any of the other work, but you do everything. I don't call myself an influencer. Was it you I was messaging earlier? Was it you? And I even said, I was just like, listen, I'm no one important. No, but you say that. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, my personal experience now. In the 15 years I've coached, I've been called a parent, I've been called a friend, been called a counsellor, been called a dinner lady, been called a sir, been called a coach, been called an idiot.
Why dinner lady?
Because I've served lunch.
And I can cook. Lady?
That's what kids know best because most schools will have a lunchtime supervisor who they call a dinner lady. Most of the time it's a female, it's something they're acquainted to. And they just think it's the right title because I was serving food that day. Call me a counsellor, call me a leader, a brother. So
you wear a lot of hats, that's why, because of you can relate to so many different kids.
What I'm trying to get at is I might not feel that I'm something, but in somebody else's eyes, I actually am.
Yeah.
It's their reality.
Yeah, I get you. No, 100%. Like with me, I always put myself out there as, I was always known as Sophina the mom, Sophina the nurse. And then when I left the NHS, because I never used to post, like a lot of people didn't even know I was a nurse. And that's because when you work for the NHS, there's only so much you can, talk about and everything because you're with all the guidelines and whatnot. But people only started to realize I was a nurse when I went into the private sector with my clinic. So yeah, it's one of those things. But what was I getting at? Oh yeah, the whole I went onto Facebook just as a joke. This all started because there was no Instagram. It was just as a joke. So, okay, my friends have got Facebook. I was at uni then, started uni. They were all on Facebook. I'll create a Facebook account, go on then. And then because I was doing the makeup artist work, I was just posting a little bit of my makeup artist work on there. Then I'd check in at futsal because my kids used to go futsal. Whatever I do with the kids, I'd check in here, check in there. And then people were like, oh my God, you do this with your kids, you do that with your kids, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of fell into it. I didn't intend to do any kind of blogging or vlogging or influencing or anything like that. And I think that's what people really appreciated, the fact that I'm just a normal mom doing stuff with my kids, juggling a million things, just like all the other moms out there as well. They may not feel adequate enough because they see my life and they think that this is like they only see what I post, what I portray. It's very filtered in that sense. I do show a lot of real stuff as well, but I have my limits in what I show. But that's probably why they feel there's that inadequacy there. And I never want them to feel that, because they're doing exactly like you're saying, all parents are superheroes. They're doing it all themselves, working, running around. Even if they're not working, they're managing their children, their homes, their husbands. They're doing so much. So it's just one of those things. I just fell into it. So I don't really know a lot about vlogging or blogging or anything, to be fair. What I use, I post it. What I wear, I post it. Because otherwise I get flooded with inboxes and I don't have time to reply to
Becomes
them.
another job, yeah.
That's it. So then I'm just like, that's what I did on Facebook. Then I was like, okay, I'm just going to post what I'm wearing because I know I'm going to get asked with all the comments, and then I have to reply to all the comments. I'll just post it on there. And then that's it. I just fell into it. So yeah, I am really crap at vlogging. I know. But it's the real content that I know people appreciate, because that's why they used to love my live streams, because they just see me at home with the kids most of the time.
Okay, we're going to ask you to give us one final statement or words of wisdom, or shout at us. Look at that camera and tell us your final message to wrap up.
I think be yourself, really important. Stay true to what you believe in, who you are as a person, what your aspirations are. People around you who support you, hold on to them. People around you who don't support you as much, maybe don't. I'm not saying get rid of them. This is going to go so bad. Distance yourself. Yeah. You know what? Stay positive. Positivity is just everything. Like in life, if you have a positive surrounding, it will have a positive impact on your life. Any kind of negativity, try and just, move that to the back seat. Don't take notice of it. And don't let anyone tell you you can't do whatever you plan on doing, because as long as it's all legal and halal. So yeah, just be yourself, and just don't let anyone knock you for who you're trying to be or what you're trying to do in life.